You are not broken. Your software just has bugs in it that weren't your fault. You weren't born with them. Somebody put them there, right? Somebody said you're not enough. Somebody said you're ugly. Somebody said you're not smart enough. Somebody said like you'll never amount to anything. Or somebody said like you always got to do more or you're never safe or whatever it is that somebody planted in you. That's a bug in your software. That's not your truth. That's not who you are. You're pure love and light. And everything bright, I like to rhyme, everything bright is possible for you when you choose to upgrade to your own truth.
Hello and welcome back to Healing and Growing Hand in Hand podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Tickle. Our guest today is Yvonne Trost. And I said it right, right?
Yes, you did.
It scared me for a minute. And she is a happiness coach and a hypnotherapist. And I'm going to read her bio. For 25 years, Yvonne lived a life that wasn't truly her own, struggling to achieve perfection in order to conform to familial expectations and social conditioning. As a result of not feeling she was ever enough, she rushed into mismatched marriages and spent almost 10 years trying to make it work. Well, I did about almost 30.
Mhm.
In 2014, she endured an excruciating divorce that turned into the most liberating change and marked a turning point in her life. It was during this tumultuous time that Yvonne began her journey, igniting a profound transformation that led her to rediscover her true self and her life's purpose. Her focus shifted from merely existing to manifesting a life filled with love, light, and purpose. She began nurturing stronger relationships with oneself and others. She now devotes her life to being in service to others, helping others illuminate their lives and find their own paths to love and fulfillment. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I have a great life.
Yeah, you do. And you know what? Mine's kind of like that too. And and what I say about mine is, my life is so much better than I ever imagined. And it's not because I'm somebody special, it's just because I did the work.
Yeah, I could not have. I'm a recovering planner and a recovering perfectionist, and I could not have planned anything more perfect than
Oh,
what I have allowed and attracted and created just with surrender, openness, and trust.
I love it. I love it. It's so true. It's so, when you really let go of, like my thing too is control. When you let go and you just open yourself up, it's amazing what
Yeah,
those aha moments and those healing moments that you'll get that you wouldn't otherwise get. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and what we're going to kind of talk about, I love this, is the power of self-love and personal transformation. So, Yvonne, thank you for being here and
You're
tell us a
welcome.
little
Thanks for
about,
having me.
yes, tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, I'm now a happiness coach and hypnotherapist. My title, which is the best title in the world, is Chief Happiness Officer
I love that.
of Limitless You. So, my partner and
Love
I
it.
started a company called Limitless You. We have Unlock Limitless You as our website. So, if you want to go to unlocklimitlessyou.com, that is our website. And about me, well, we would take forever if I told you the whole story because I feel like I've lived so many different lives, but
Yeah.
born and raised in a small town in the middle of cornfields in Illinois and grew up not really knowing a lot. A lot of surrounded by love and people that wanted the best for me, but lived a quite a sheltered life, right?
Uh,
And I just didn't know what I didn't know.
yeah.
And now we have the opposite problem, right? We're inundated with social media and all the disinformation and all the information. Complete opposite. I am not as old as I sound, but there was no real internet, right? Like the only computer I touched was a keyboarding class in high school
Mm-hmm.
that kept me only aware of what I was taught.
Right.
And so I was brought up in a way that was very loving, but also very risk aversion and fear based because my parents didn't grow up with a lot. And so they always wanted more for me, right? So it was always avoid risk, make money, you know, do the safe jobs, go into business school. So that's what I all did, right? And then I went into business school and I didn't really want to work at a bank and I didn't really want to work at a brokerage firm. And so then I'm like, oh, I'll be a consultant, figure out what I want to be when I grow up in 2 years. Well, 2 years turned into 25. And along the way is always keeping up with the proverbial Joneses. Had to be married by a certain time, had to have kids in a house by a certain time. And it was late, right? And my clock was
Mm-hmm.
ticking. And so I was always seeking, not knowing, right? Like if you had asked anybody, they'd be like, she's really confident, sometimes too confident, sometimes intimidating, right?
Yeah.
Which it was a protective measure now that I
Mm-hmm.
know, right? It was a protective
Yes.
measure. Because on the inside, I probably didn't know this consciously, but subconsciously never felt enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was always striving for more and seeking external validation and having to be right and never wanting to be wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it all goes back to not wanting to be kicked out of the tribe.
Oh, amen to that, right?
So I just didn't know what I didn't know. And like so many of us, I was running on all the automatic programs, right? That we now know are formed before we're 10 years old, usually.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in our subconscious and they're running our lives and they're creating our personalities, which creates our realities. And then I ended up in an unsafe marriage and had two kids and a house and the Facebook family on the outside,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely not on the inside. And so then I had to get out of the unsafe marriage. And then I was like, well, I have to take care of my kids. I have to wait till they get out of college to start living.
Mm.
And it wasn't until a really bad divorce that my friend said, come to yoga with me. I'm like, I hate yoga. There's no endorphins. I'm a runner. I'm a spinner. That's boring. I've been to one, but it was a Bally's, so it probably wasn't real yoga. And it changed. Something shifted
Mm.
just through breath,
Yep.
just through pushing my edge in a 96 hot and humid studio. I was breathing again
Mm.
because most people are suffering because we're not breathing properly. And breath is life. It is our life force. It's our prana. We can't live without it for more than 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that started the transformation. And it took a little while, right? I didn't know. I still was resisting, still trying to protect, still trying to be enough. Yoga turned into like becoming certified in yoga, even though I couldn't pay the bills with it. I learned more. Then I started meditating. Then I started manifesting. Fast forward to today, I attracted a partner into my life who he went through a transformation and he was like becoming certified to be a hypnotherapist. I thought I had to go back to school for years and get a PhD to help people in the way that I wanted. And I thought, well, I can't do that if I don't win the lottery, but I don't buy lottery tickets. So there goes that. I was just going to wait to start living another 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't have even done it then. But I'm like, well, if he can do that, I can do that. Because I was his guinea pig. I let him practice because it's almost like a residency and you have to practice
Yeah.
on, other fellow students that are becoming hypnotherapists as well as any family or friends that will allow you to. And I didn't go into a trance. Some people do, some people don't. I didn't come up with any memories I hadn't had. Some people do, some people don't. I've even had a woman in her 70s come up with something from when she was in the womb. Like, it is that powerful.
Wow.
I didn't have that, but what I did have was this crazy connection, Lisa, between what I knew about my past and what I had experienced until the present and how I was feeling in the moment. And a light bulb went on where I basically took my subconscious knowledge and shined a light on my conscious and was like, oh my gosh, I've been living somebody else's life from somebody else's fears.
Mm-hmm.
And the universe is just hitting me over the head until I wake up. And that's why I always say when people are like, oh, I'm so sorry you had a terrible divorce and you had to get ADT because you felt unsafe. I'm like, it's a congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
I would have
Mm-hmm.
never woken up because I
Mm-hmm.
was a hardworking German Midwestern girl and I was going to get it done. I was taught to just make it work
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
And that's why things happen to you. They do. It's cliche and true. They happen for you, not to you. And when you can sit back and breathe
Yeah.
and, like you said, open the aperture and begin to realize and surrender that something is happening for you. You might not know what right then and there, but if you can open to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm not with the right person and I'm not in the right place. But I would have kept trying to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I did the same exact thing. I mean, it's interesting because our lives are kind of parallel in that, and the breathing thing was huge. That one was really big, and I've mentioned this on my podcast before. Speaking of breathing, um, my ex-husband would call me, and I would pick up the phone and talk to him, and he'd say, "Did you just run to the phone?" And I said, no, I was just sitting here. And for a long time, I couldn't figure out why he said that to me several times. And what I realized is I wasn't breathing right. I was so tight all the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking those deep breaths. It was constantly shout. Well, I was in survival mode. So I was in that
Yeah.
breathing that happens
Yeah.
with
Your fight or
survival mode.
flight.
Right. So it made sense. And I thought that's just so weird because he asked me that like 3 or 4 different times. So yeah, the breathing is huge. That really does open everything up and gives your body a break.
Do you have unexplained tension, fatigue, or even gut issues that never seem to go away? Sometimes your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. Join our Women's Childhood Abuse Healing Workshop, where we'll help you tune into your body and begin healing from the inside out.
Yeah, so I'm a certified hypnotherapist, I'm a certified yoga instructor, and I thought I got the breath thing, right?
Mm.
I recently started working with a breath coach. It is next level. It is next level. So I'm going to get certified in doing that as well. But there is so much energy stored in you, even that you don't know about, even if you feel good. Like your breath, there's something called a prana tube, and it goes through your central channel. And she has helped me access things that I had pushed down and buried out of, I guess thinking that I had to be strong for my kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
That I had pushed down so deep, even after as much healing as I've had, as healthy as I feel, as happy as I am, they still lived there. And so if you're listening, right, whether you can work with someone like me at Limitless You, that's a hypnotherapist and happiness coach, or you can't, just maybe go explore some breath work.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
will unlock and release some stuff, and you're not sure why. Well, it's buried in your subconscious, and that's why I tell people I'm a subconscious safari guide, right? Like you wouldn't go into the jungle by yourself. You wouldn't know what to do, and you might not come out alive.
Right.
The subconscious doesn't have to be scary. It can be exciting. A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to relive anything. I'm like, you're not reliving it. You're just reviewing it with a new lens from a safe place.
Yeah, there you go. From a safe place. That's the key.
And you can reparent and rewrite the meaning you gave your past. Because every time you remember something, you remember it slightly differently.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, we're in the same experience here.
Mm-hmm.
We can have completely different realities, and your reality is based upon the thoughts you give the experience that you're having.
Yes.
So even in my terrible marriage, it wasn't my ex-husband that was creating my reality. It was the meaning I was giving what my ex-husband was doing.
Correct.
So if you're listening, let me say this again. You are not impacted by the things outside of you. You are impacted by the meaning that you give them. So if you said, he makes me mad, she makes me yell, they can't make you do anything. We're taught that. We hear that all the time from parents and teachers and everybody else growing up. Like, you made me, she made him, you make me feel. You are the one that makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened is we've given away our power of choice.
Right.
We've given away our power of choice of our thoughts. We've given away power of choice of the feelings and the thoughts that we have associated with those feelings. So that's what we do, and that's what I work, I call it my tribe, right? Whether people work with me one-on-one or they work in a group setting, we meet every single week. And we were just talking about how to be energy alchemists today. And it is understanding that there are thoughts that are automatically fired without your, approval as soon as you have a physical sensation. And most of the time, you don't even know what that physical sensation is because we're taught to numb out.
Correct.
We're taught to not feel. We're scared of our emotions or we're scared of our bodily sensations. And quite often, our thoughts are the ones that are creating the bodily sensations that don't feel great. And so this is information. Like we're through the information age. I don't even know what they call it now, like AI age.
Yes.
But we're not taught that the valuable information that we're paying thousands of dollars, marketers, salespeople, everybody's paying all this money for information. You have so much information you're not using coming from your own being. So you want to understand what you're feeling, sensation physically. You want to understand emotionally what you're feeling. And then you can have compassion and curiosity to know it's not your fault. And you don't have to stay stuck in those things. You can let them flow through once you understand how to choose the meaning you give them.
Mm-hmm.
You give the feelings, you give the emotions, you give the things outside of yourself. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. Now
That's
that I
huge.
know what I know, like I'm on a path. I learned so much. I healed so much. I freed myself. I mean, I left what I thought was going to have to be a career until my kids were out of college to live my purpose. And I could not have done that without unlocking my subconscious and the limiting beliefs that live there. So that's where I'm at today. And that's why I'm here today. Hopefully people are hearing this message
Mm-hmm.
and they know that they don't have to stay stuck. Or if you
Exactly.
feel like, hey, I'm doing great, you don't have to stop. That's why
Right.
we named our company Limitless You, because we are all limitless. We're here in Earth School. We're meant to grow. We're meant to learn. We're meant to fail. We're meant to learn again. That's
Correct.
why we're here.
Exactly. As what you're saying is so true. And this is just one way to help unlock that trauma that's in your body. And I'll tell you, it's interesting when you do kind of what you were describing, and I'll tell you my kind of experience kind of in a nutshell. But what I used to think about myself before I really did the deep healing was just horrific, right? I was this, I was that, I was not loved, I was not wanted, I wasn't needed, all that. And my behavior was, because I was in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you can have narcissistic tendencies. And just, I would blow up because I would get triggered and I'd have to go clean up those messes. So there was all that going on. And when I understood and I started doing breath work myself, when I started journaling and I started meditating and I started discovering me and who
Yeah.
I am and what I like, what I don't like, what's important to me, all of a sudden it put this space, is the only way I can put it, between my trauma and me. And all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden those behaviors that I had, I understood it doesn't make the behaviors okay. But what it does is it explains to me why I did them, gave me an opportunity to forgive myself because I had to do that. And I'm
Yeah.
still working on that sometimes, but also looking at like, okay, I'm not this horrible person that I used to think I was. I had horrible behavior at the time, not great behavior, but I'm not that horrible person. And I start to understand why I react this way. And I take that space whenever I get triggered. I now have enough self-awareness that I recognize when I'm being triggered and I can take a step back and take a big pause before I react. And that has
Yeah.
been so empowering. I can't even begin to tell you.
Healing is hard, but healing alone is even harder. If you're craving connection with women who get it, the women's healing community is here for you. There's no judgment, only real conversations, healing tools, and a circle of support. Click below to sign up now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what, my clients in my community, we talk about. It's not that you're not going to feel. We want you to feel.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't want you to get stuck. We don't want
Yes.
you to get stuck in a vicious thought, feeling, action loop that does not serve you,
Yeah,
right? Because that's what will happen. So
exactly.
we actually there's a free resource. If you're listening, you can go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/joy. It's called our Joy Regenerator. And it basically will take you step by step through something similar to what Lisa just said, right? You feel the physical sensation. You feel it.
Mm-hmm. First. Mm-hmm.
You sit and you breathe, right? Because your body is going to say, oh my God, we're in danger. And that's why people go into reactive mode and they
Yep.
go into fight or flight or freeze if it's really bad, right? You have a panic attack and you freeze. Breathe. You want to breathe in and then it's called coherence breath. You want to breathe out for slightly longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're doing that, it's telling your mind that you're not in danger if you can take a hot second to do that. So breathe in for a count of 4 and then breathe out for a count of 8. And just do that several times. Feel the emotions, know that you're not in danger. And then you have compassion for yourself because really it's probably not the adult you that's reacting.
Oh, so
It's
true.
the inner child you that's scared,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And then you do what Lisa said, you get curious. Well, why is my inner child, or why am I scared?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like look at yourself like a 6 or 7-year-old. It's easier to have compassion. Why am I scared? Oh. And maybe you know and maybe you don't know, but I want you to know it's not your fault. because we're only scared of loud noises and the fear of falling when we're born. Everything else is conditioned. So if you don't know, do some meditation, find yourself a hypnotherapist, reach out to me, unlocklimitlessyou.com/call. It's a free first session. And you'll get an awareness of why you might be triggered the way you are. And then you do an interrupt. You shift into gratitude, right?
Yes.
Because if you're grateful, then you can't be in fight or flight. So
Yep.
it can be about the situation, something you can be grateful for, or it could be something completely unrelated. What are 3 things you're grateful for, right? I'm grateful that I have awareness right now. I'm grateful that I can breathe freely. I'm grateful that whatever it is that's appropriate to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some space, like Lisa said, some space. Gives yourself some space. Is the original thought that triggered me true? If you do the work with me, you'll realize, no, it's not. And you can get into a matter of seconds this process that might take people years or lifetimes to forgive themselves or to get out of reaction or to get out of negativity. It comes to a matter of seconds where this process goes like that. That's what my clients say. Oh, it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yes.
Because I know and I can forgive and I can release and I can know, you know what, Lisa, if you said something mean to me, I now know it has nothing to do with me. Because
Yes.
I can't make you feel anything. Only you can. And I wasn't around in your childhood. I've never met you before. So I can't possibly take it personally once you have that knowledge. But
Yes.
that's why I'm here today. We are not taught Human Being 101 or 201 or 301. We are not even given a quick start guide. Like we're not
Outline,
taught
anything, nothing.
how our mind, body, spirit works.
Mhm.
Sex ed in high school is not Human Being 101. Neither is Biology 101. So listen more to things like Lisa's show. You can listen to our show. We bring guests like myself and other healers on how to be happier for entrepreneurs. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not, it's very valuable. Start learning about your human being.
Yep.
And then what we're talking about will become so much easier. Because once you have the knowledge, the how becomes easier.
It does.
Right?
It does.
And you can breathe and you can accept and you can be like, oh, for me, there's 3 things that I want to help everybody get rid of. The first is fear.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're in mortal danger. If you're in mortal danger, use your human being gifts and go into fight or flight or freeze. But if you're not in mortal danger, I mean, really, if you're not in mortal danger, and how often are we all in mortal danger? Very rarely, if at all. Fear does not serve you. Your subconscious thinks it does because it thinks that's how I'm going to survive, is by making you afraid. And it thinks the fear is better than what it thinks is going to be worse, right? So whether it's the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of unknown, right? That's what it was for me.
Yeah.
Right? The fear of the unknown. Can I really do what I want? Because my parents said I have to do this to make this money so that I can have a family and pay the bills. And maybe someday when I'm retired, then I'll have enough to start living. So I had to let go of the fear of the unknown. Right? So many people do. Fear. The second is judgment. Judgment of self or judgment of others.
Yes.
Again, it does 0 good. 0.
It actually is. It's actually bad for you.
It is bad for you. You can be discerning. People are like, oh, well, I have to have judgment at work. I'm like, there's a difference between discernment and judgment.
Right.
Judgment is thinking that another human being is not equal to you, or you're not equal to another human being. We are all created equal. We are all connected energetically. The skin is overrated. Our energy is connected outside of this, across, you and I are connected right now.
Correct.
We're all connected. So when you judge somebody, right, it's hurting yourself. When you judge yourself, obviously it's hurting yourself. People are like, well, I need to be hard on myself so that I can improve. I am sorry. It's a myth. It doesn't make you a better you. It doesn't make you a better you. It's the antithesis of self-love. So judgment's the second thing. First is fear. Second is judgment. The third, and I'm still working on this one. The first 2 took me a while. The third one you mentioned earlier, self-pity.
Yeah.
As a single mama going through it's been 10 years since I've been divorced, but it feels still like yesterday with the way that what I receive from my ex-husband. Running a household on my own, like
Mhm.
I can sometimes slip into that.
Yeah.
But self-pity also does no good,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Gets you
You're
stuck.
trying to get attention, you're trying to get help, you're trying to get love, but you end up putting out this energy that gets you the wrong attention,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you don't get what you want, you get what you are.
Mm.
So if you want love, kindness, compassion, support, you first have to be it. You first have to give it to yourself
So true. You can't give
because you
away what
teach
you don't
others.
have, right? You
You
cannot give
cannot.
away what you don't have yourself.
You cannot. And you teach others how to treat you,
Correct.
and you put out an a energetic field that attracts like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I put out self-pity, I will attract more reasons or more people that are also in self-pity. If I put out resentment, the universe will give me more things to resent.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not, people are like, oh, this is like positive thinking woo woo. It is not.
Mm-mm. No.
Their energy is real.
Mm-hmm.
Your energy, we're all made of energy. Modern science has proven what yogis and ancients have known for thousands of years. We are all energy with frequency. So if you're listening, maybe you haven't tuned a radio before, but any of you that have, where we used to have to like tune the knob on the radio to get the station just right,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We couldn't see the music, but we could hear it. So we know it's real,
Right.
right? But we had to be at the right station, just the right amount. Or maybe you can remember rabbit ears on TV. Like you had to tune in for it to be clear.
Oh, yeah.
The human being is no different. So we are frequency, we are energy, and we have to tune into our pure, loving, vibrational state. That's when we will be our best, highest self. So this isn't woo woo, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just try it. Don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything Lisa says. Please don't believe anything you hear from anybody without first testing it.
Mm-hmm. Here's here's
Test
an
it.
here's an example. I mean, I'm sure you have felt this. I know I have, and probably our listeners, but someone can walk into the room and the entire energy in the room will shift. It could
Oh,
be better, right? Or it could be worse. I have felt both, right? I mean, there's just some people that walk in and they've just got that explosive kind of energy. And, so that's just, to me, that's just, I'm sure almost everybody in their lifetime have experienced that in one way or another. And that's just kind of an example of what we're talking about. And there's, we are energy. We give off energy and we receive energy.
absolutely. And if you're like, oh yeah, so and so is this way, or I can only be this way, you
Oh,
can be any way that you tune to. I used to be. You can talk to anybody that worked with me when I worked at Accenture. And I was that confident person that I thought I had to have everything perfect. I had to have everything in control. I had to know everything and I had to be right. Like, and if anybody did anything that I didn't think was right, they're like, you don't have to say anything, right? Like, it got to the point where somebody mentioned something to my boss many moons ago, and my boss was talking to me, so then I had to go talk to everybody. Had no awareness because I was so successful. My clients
mm,
loved me. We were a high achieving team, right? So all the things that society would tell me,
you're
I
successful.
was doing it quote unquote right. But I wasn't taught the human being
Mm,
part. I mean, it was growing up, but not in the way that would have been helpful exactly for this situation, because I was like, oh, I got grounded if I didn't get straight A's. I was always compared to my friend who was like the
Oh,
top in class, right? I,
yeah.
had all these reinforcements of like having to be the best at
Mm-hmm.
all costs,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And so it wasn't until I got this opportunity to like ask people, like, how do you feel my way of being is? How can I improve and all the things? They're like, we know when you're mad. You don't have to say anything. I don't
Oh,
even have to see you. I can, to your point, Lisa, they could feel me walking into the
yep.
room.
Yep. I used to be, I know, I could be like that too. I hate that.
And now
Mm,
it's just the opposite,
yeah.
right? So if you're listening and you think, well, I'm an introvert or I'm always sad or I'm whatever it is you think, please don't say you are anything you don't want to be.
Exactly.
Like that, just start there and then know that it is all possible. You can vibrate on whatever frequency you tune to,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't take a lot of hard work. I help
Mm-mm.
my clients transform in less than 2 months. It doesn't take years of therapy. It doesn't take lifetime. You're not born a certain way and there's no hope for you.
And you're not
You are
broken.
you're not broken.
Mm-hmm.
You're pure love and light. All you have, it's like I tell people, like, so most people have a smartphone, right? And we get these updates all the time.
Yes, I got one today.
The hardware would not work without the upgrades eventually,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the phone isn't broken, right? The hardware still works, but the software needs updating. Human
Beautiful.
beings are no different.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
are not broken. Your software just has bugs in it that weren't your fault. You weren't born with them. Somebody put them there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Somebody said you're not enough. Somebody said you're ugly. Somebody said you're not smart enough. Somebody said like you'll never amount to anything. Or somebody said like you always got to do more or you're never safe or whatever it is that somebody planted in you. That's a bug in your software. That's not your truth. That's not who you are. You're pure love and light. And everything bright, I like to rhyme, everything bright is possible for you
Mm-hmm.
when you choose to upgrade to your own truth.
Mm, that is so beautifully said. And it's so liberating. And, one of the things when I started really going deep into my healing journey is really discovering me.
Yeah.
Because, and I can remember it was the day after my son got married, and it was a great wedding. I was super happy for him. There was nothing that I was unhappy about. But I went home and I laid in my bed and cried. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure of the things that I liked because I spent a lifetime being very proud of being a chameleon.
Yes.
So, Yvonne, I want you to like me. So I'm going to assess you. I'm going to figure out what it is that you're expecting of me. And that's how I'm going to behave towards you. So that's the lifetime of what I did. And so I don't know why it hit me that day, but it did. And it's okay. It's all right. Like you said, I went through a really incredibly difficult divorce. One of the hardest things I ever had to do, and certainly not what I wanted to do, but it was a game changer. And it's those big life moments that we can let derail us, or
Yes.
we can, we need to have a grieving moment. We need to have a moment of, going through our emotions, and then we need to be curious. And that one of the smartest things I ever heard, and it was a game changer for me, was rather than being judgmental towards yourself or others, be curious. And we've been talking
Yes.
about that. And that has been a game changer because, boy, you want to talk about judgment.
Yeah. You know what's a fun thing? I like to have fun now a lot. So I changed Einstein's theory of energy a little bit. His equation equals mc squared. This is how you can kind of remember, if you're listening, a little bit of what Lisa and I are talking about today. So the energy that you want in your life is mindful thinking raised to the power of compassion and curiosity. So that
Raise?
minute, that space that we talked about,
Yes.
just to have a moment to give yourself compassion like you would a best friend, or to see yourself as that 6 or 7 year old,
Yes.
because that's what's operating in your subconscious mind majority. Until you've done the upgrade, your whole life and personality is being run by the little you that's less than 10 years old.
Yes.
They've proven 95% of what you say, do, think, everything by the time you're 35 is driven by your subconscious, not your choice. It's
Correct.
automatically programmed.
Correct.
So you can have compassion for yourself. You can have compassion for the person perhaps that's triggering you because they're also operating that way.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. They're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah. And then shift to curiosity. Huh. Why am I feeling this way? Why did they say that? Why are they feeling that way? So the energy you want in your life, raise it to the power of mindful thinking, of compassion and curiosity. Works every single time, guaranteed. Every single time. You might need some help to discover some of the things that curiosity will bring you. And that's why I do what I do,
Right.
right? helps you get to the root cause of why you might be feeling that way. So you're not stuck in overthinking, right? Or years of analysis paralysis. We don't want
Yeah.
that, right? We don't want to get stuck, but let your emotions flow. See what they're telling you. Because I tell people your body is like an early warning signal. It doesn't speak English, French, German, Spanish, anything like that, but it speaks through sensations. It speaks through emotions, and it's trying to communicate. But if you're not listening, if you're like, no, I'm going to go have another drink, or I'm going to go binge watch Netflix, or I'm going to work my life away, or I'm going to go, whatever it is, whatever your unhealthy coping mechanism is. Mine used to be open a bottle of wine and binge watch Netflix, right? Distract, disconnect. I don't want to feel that.
Yep.
We all have unhealthy coping mechanisms that we've learned. We can unlearn them and replace them with healthy ones. So I have a ton of free resources out there. If you go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/resources, there's a bunch of free stuff out there.
Nice.
/quiz is the one thing I would encourage everybody to do right now after this. It only takes less than 5 minutes. It's 12 questions. If you're like Lisa and I used to be, and we're like, who the heck am I? I don't even know. You tell me to be my authentic self. I don't know what that means. Or what is this self-love business? I hear it all the time. Nobody can tell you what self-love is. It's what's loving to you, right?
Yes.
And it's how you, like, the golden rule is broken. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That was beat in my head. Well, what if I do unto you, Lisa, how I want to be done unto, but that doesn't feel loving to you,
Right.
right? So we're not taught how to communicate what's loving to us. We're taught that's selfish, or that's narcissism,
True.
or that's, all about you, right? We're not taught to ask people what's loving to them, right? We're not taught what are boundaries, what are healthy boundaries. We're starting to learn that, but we weren't taught that growing up.
Yeah.
And so if you go to unlocklimitlessyou.com/quiz, it's our self-love quiz. It's only 12 questions. I want you to be honest with yourself. It will open your eyes to your way of being with yourself and to your way of being with others. Because what you give to others, like you said, Lisa, you can't give what you don't have. And usually what you give is what you're feeling about yourself,
You're projecting.
whether you know it or not. Take the quiz. See what it says. Make sure we don't go into promotions or spam or junk. We'll be sending you a series of emails that helps you understand what each answer means in your quiz and how might you unlock opportunities for greater self-love through just like simple little free tools. Like this is, my partner and I are not doing this for like careers, for like climbing a ladder. That was my old corporate job. I'm doing this because I don't want anybody to suffer longer than they have to. And I
Exactly.
know that when you discover your authentic self and you discover your purpose and you radiate love and light, when more of us are doing that, that's going to make this world a better place for everybody.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
go take that quiz, see how your way of being is with you, because so many things are normalized that are not healthy.
Like, for example?
For example, well, that person said that. And so, I'm not going to do that for them, or I'm going to say this about them, or well, I got to protect. There's not enough. So like, I can't share or be generous because then what if I don't have enough? So a mindset of lack, right? Versus abundance, and a mindset of generosity is very normal. A mindset of survival, right? Of protection against judgment is very normal. But normal doesn't mean healthy.
Yes. True.
Unfortunately, normal usually means unhealthy in today's day and age. So don't try to be normal. Like when my kids say, Mom, you're weird. I'm like, I'd rather be weird than normal because normal's boring and it's probably not healthy. So
Sounds like me.
dare to be different. Dare to be weird. Dare to be you. Don't compare yourself and think like, oh, well, I have to put up a guard and well, she does that and all my girlfriends do that or all my guy friends do that. That's healthy. That's just how you have to be today. No, it's not.
No.
No, it's not. So don't measure yourself based upon anybody else or anything else, or even a renowned experts program.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how you feel. Use that as your barometer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Correct.
And so
Yes.
the quiz is just going to have you ask yourself some questions that might make you think about, oh, how is that way of being? And is that my choice or is that my conditioning? And does that feel good? Or am I really just in fear?
Mm.
Anytime, back to these things, fear, judgment, self-pity. Anytime you feel those three things, I need you to stop and pause and ask yourself, okay, number one, it's okay, go back to E equals MC squared. Pause, have compassion for myself. Something in my mind is telling me I'm in danger. And it's just that little me inside, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get curious as to why am I feeling fear? Why am I feeling judgment? Why am I feeling self-pity? And you're going to find that the reasons your mind automatically says to you, verbally or silently, are not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a protection mechanism. Your mind, listen to this. This is wild. Your subconscious mind doesn't care if you're happy or sad, healthy or unhealthy, rich or poor. Your subconscious mind doesn't care. Your subconscious mind is only concerned about whether you are alive or dead.
Oh,
Again,
great.
your subconscious mind only cares if you are alive or dead. If you were alive, it says, perfect. We're going to keep doing whatever we've been doing because we're alive.
It's working.
So when you're like, why would somebody keep like going into a abusive relationship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would somebody keep drinking themselves to death? Why would somebody, that doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody harm themselves? It's because their subconscious mind thinks it's better than death
Mm-hmm.
because it's been working.
Right.
Working meaning they're alive,
Right.
not working meaning they're thriving or they're happy or they're healthy.
Right.
So that we are not taught. That is human being 101. That is your subconscious mind 101. So when you're feeling any low vibrational frequency, I stick with the big three, usually are related to everything: fear, judgment, or self-pity. Right? Because if you're sad, you're feeling sorry for yourself, right? And sadness is okay. Feel the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get stuck in them.
Right. Right.
Feel the
right.
emotions, but do not get stuck in them.
Right.
That is the message. That is the message. And then you can choose. You can choose like, oh, well, that's not true. I am enough. That's not true. I'm not my body. Who cares if my pants are fitting a little bit tighter? I'm not my body. I tell people, hold up your right hand. Just go ahead and have fun, Lisa. You like to have fun. Hold up your right hand and hit yourself in the face.
I don't like that.
We would never do that. And if you did walk around doing that, people think you're crazy. Your hand, this is not Yvonne. This is Yvonne's hand. I have a hand, but it's not who I am. You have a hand, it's not who you are. You have a body, it is not who you are. I have a body, it's not who I am. But guess what? You have a mind. Most people have a mind that does exactly what your hand was doing.
Yeah.
Slaps you around, pushes you down all day long. Not only are you not your body, you are not your mind. You are not your thoughts.
That's not
We
your
have been taught
identity.
to identify with them,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you take back that power and you're like, oh, actually, I'm at the seat of this. And my mind is a tool that I have, and my thoughts are part of that tool. But I am the CEO of me.
Mm-hmm.
I am the pilot of my own human being. People think it's their mind. No, sorry.
Mm-mm.
We were not taught what we needed to know.
No.
The mind, so 95% of it is the 10-year-old version of you or younger.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine, like, what's the most, complicated thing you can think of that man has invented and built?
Oh gosh, going to the moon, like going
Okay,
up
so a
in space.
rocket.
Yeah, a rocket. Yeah.
Okay, so a rocket. Not to my knowledge, but I don't watch the news. I don't think we've cloned another human being.
No.
We built a rocket, but we've not cloned a human being, right?
Right.
So the human being's more complicated. So now imagine you, Lisa, are more complicated than a rocket.
Mm.
And then close your eyes and see the little 7-year-old Lisa. And I want you to see her at the controls of a rocket ship. And she's not been taught how to fly it.
It's going to be a disaster.
That's what's happening in most people's lives.
Oh my God, that's such a beautiful example. Holy cow.
That's what's happening.
That's a great example. Seriously. That's
That's what's
beautiful.
happening.
Yeah. And you know what's really cool? As you practice this, it does get easier.
Not only does it get easier, it gets fun.
It does. And you start laughing at yourself. That's what I found. I went from beating myself up, like, okay, I went and made a mistake, right? Okay, so let's go through this whole ruminating, beating yourself up for days, if not whatever. And now I just laugh at myself. I'm like, seriously? And I laugh. But it's so, because as you practice this and you have the self-awareness and you are paying attention to your body and you're paying attention to what's going on here, you can catch it. You can stop it quicker, have that moment of pause, breathe, and do the curiosity, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? What do I need? And then you can respond. And guess what? I don't have to do a whole bunch of cleanup.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful. I will share an example of what Lisa just said so you can walk through your own. So recently, my oldest graduated high school, but he had graduated college before high school.
Oh, goodness.
Because he did all this dual enrollment and he got his associate's degree.
Nice.
So I'm at his graduation and my boyfriend has come to support him also and to support me. Like, I should be the most proud mom in the world, and I am, right? I'm feeling amazing. My youngest isn't there because he doesn't like to sit still for very long, right? His biological father isn't there because he abused him and he's not talked to him for 4 years. This is still really amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The graduation ends. My son goes to the bathroom. My boyfriend has to go do something somewhere nearby, like shoot a video for something. And I'm standing on the field by myself. And all around me are all the Facebook families. The whole family's there and grandma's there and everybody's taking pictures. So my family loves my son. They're in the Midwest, so it's not as easy for them to come. And my sister actually did come for the college graduation, just not the high school one, which is totally amazing. And for a second, I feel something heavy in my chest, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
And the old me would have probably just run, like go hide in the car until the youngest comes back or somebody comes back. But I felt it in my chest. Remember, that's your early warning signal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, interesting. Why am I feeling that? And then I'm like, oh, that's self-pity.
Yeah.
That's judgment. That's, oh, I'm not like everybody else. That's, oh, like, am I not as good as everybody else? And then I'm like, that's not true. Go back to our joy regenerator. unlocklimitlessyou.com/joy. I took a breath. I'm like, I am grateful that my boyfriend came here. I am grateful that my son is so resilient and so brilliant that despite all of his trauma, he's risen way above the occasion. And I'm grateful that I'm realizing and not reacting. Right? At Limitless You, I have 3 things to make it easy. First, you realize, but with your conscious and your subconscious, you recode to what you want the truth to be, because you get to choose. And then you take action. You rewrite it. So I'm like, okay, I just realized this is the old programming saying something's wrong with you. You don't belong. You're not enough. I rewrote it and I said, I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am proud. I see a bunch of families. I wouldn't want any that I know. I would rather be in mine. I choose me. I choose my family. And then I took a rewrite. I went up to a family that was trying to decide who was going to take the picture. Somebody wasn't going to be in it. And I said, can I take that picture for you?
Aww.
Right?
Aww.
Do you see? That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, you first realize what's going on. Have some compassion. Get some curiosity. What truth do you want? You choose. Because again, it has nothing to do with outside of you. It's all the meaning you give it. So I give it a different meaning than one I wanted. My truth. My choice. And then I took action to show my subconscious mind I am in charge. I get to choose my feelings. I get to choose my actions. I'm not going to act out of reactivity. So what Lisa and I have been talking about, this is an example.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be able to think about, how does this apply to me? Anytime you're feeling anything other than high vibration, joy, happiness,
Yep.
anything, don't stuff it down. Don't ignore it. Feel it. Give yourself compassion, and then get curious.
Mm-hmm.
Because all it is, if you're not truly in danger, is your body has created automatic thoughts that get fired when you have any kind of physical sensation, like I had it in my chest, right?
Right. That's where
That you
mine always
have to
is.
bring to conscious awareness. And once you bring them to conscious awareness, you can see them for what they are,
Mm-hmm.
and you can choose new thoughts to automatically fire and wire into your brain,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now I'm firing and wiring, instead of self-pity, like confidence, gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
courage,
Appreciation. Yeah.
right?
Pride.
That's human being 101, 201,
Mm-hmm.
301, and we can keep going. We're limitless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're
It's so
limitless.
it's so liberating. I'm telling you that, when I think back to when I was before I started practicing this in my life, and just, I mean, I would go on for days or weeks ruminating, reliving
Yeah.
this stuff. I mean, I didn't realize what an overthinker I was, and just be miserable that whole
Yeah.
time. Miserable. And now, because I even had a situation happen like just over a week ago, and it was interesting because my husband told me something, and as soon as he told it to me, I felt the trigger right away. Like it hit me. It was weird. It was like I walked into a wall. I think that's why I was aware of it so quick. And I realized it. And it's interesting because it's just this, like you say, this feeling in your chest, and then the racing, racing, racing thoughts, and
Yeah.
just the negative racing thoughts that go through. And it's just all of a sudden I just feel so out of sorts. And I caught it right away. And I just looked at him. I said, okay, that triggered me. Give me a minute, and I figured out what it was. And it's interesting, as soon as you figure out what that trigger is, as soon as that little girl in you tells you, is able to tell you what it is, you're like, oh, okay, got it. And it no longer has that grip on you anymore.
Absolutely. And you said something earlier. What do I need? So I always give too many things, probably, but along with your MC square or MC squared, like Yvonne, how do I do that in the moment? The first is just 4 questions. What am I feeling right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where am I feeling it in my body? Right? What is it asking me to do? Is it
Mm.
asking me to run? Is it asking me to fight? Is it asking me to
Oh.
hide? And then you said this earlier. What do I really need?
Mm-hmm.
Do I really need to run? No. Do I really need to fight? No. Do I really need to freeze? No. What do I really need? Ask that little you inside. What do you really need?
Mm.
And then the fourth is, what do I need people to understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So when you walk through these 4 questions, and it's actually in the Joy Regenerator, at the end of it, I give this little script. So in your example, where something your husband said trigger you, remember, he can't make you feel anything.
Right.
So in the Joy Regenerator, when people download it, it walks them through the path. So if you're listening, unlocklimitlessyou.com/joy. You'll download this thing. It'll walk you through the steps, but then there's a little script, right? And you could even give the script to your loved one and say, hey, let's try this. And I might not get it right the first time. But you don't want the other person to feel judged, because it's not their fault anyway, actually,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you say, honey, it's not your fault. When you said whatever he said, or when you did
Mm-hmm.
whatever you did, the story I made up in my head was whatever it was.
Right. Right.
And then you say, and the feelings I felt were whatever they were. Can you help me understand your intentions so that we can talk through it, and I can heal, and we can become closer from it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do this with my partner all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
created this together because we both were recovering from severe judgment problems,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get 2 people that are like that together, it can be fireworks for the
Yes.
wrong reason, right?
Yes.
And so what it does is that it creates safety.
Right.
You're not judging your husband, and then he's allowing you to speak your truth, right? And then this conflict is going to bring you closer. I promise,
Mm-hmm.
when you use the Joy Regenerator, because you've created safety. You've improved communication. You've attuned to each other. And every single time it gets easier and easier. And then it becomes more exciting. Like, oh, how are we going to grow from this? This is amazing. So now, rather than me feeling drained from conflict or avoiding it and
Yeah.
feeling drained because I've avoided it, I look forward to learning from it. And anybody can do this.
Exactly.
Anybody can do this. And let me tell you, then you have all this energy left over to put into what you want in your life versus trying to avoid or fight the things that you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because that's kind of the conversation I had with him because, I told him, I said it triggered me. Um, and I explained to him why, because it was interesting. It all happened in a short amount of time. And I got right down to the root, within like literally within an hour, I could figure out, okay, that's the point. That's what it is. And I shared it with him, and and my husband is a very patient, very sweet, and very understanding. And, and I told him, I said, I'm sorry. I didn't do anything wrong, but I knew that my response at first wasn't real great. And I apologized. And I just said, you know, I can't promise you I won't get triggered again, but I'm working on this, and he's very patient with me. But that's the thing is, I, I am getting so much better at catching those triggers in the beginning instead of reacting to them because I got so
Yeah.
tired of the cleanup.
Yeah.
And some of
Well,
that
and it's
cleanup
so
doesn't work.
and it's exhausting.
It
And then you spend your
is.
life cleaning up and drained. So each time you do this, each time you use the Joy Regenerator with somebody, it gets easier and easier and
Mm-hmm.
you shift your energy. And when you shift your energy, you start attracting what you want
Yeah.
versus what you don't want, both in relationships with others, but most importantly in the relationship with yourself, because you're teaching yourself you can feel, you can have a voice, you can be less than perfect, you can be a human being in process, and you can feel safe showing others who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening and you're like, well, this so and so, I'll never be safe, or number one, you don't know till you try. But number
Mm-hmm.
two, if you try and they don't receive it well and they're not willing to work with you, you have a choice on who
Yes.
you spend your energy on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe it's somebody you want to give a few more chances, right? Like it doesn't happen overnight. Keep healthy boundaries, right? Make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you're safe. There are, I think, over 7 billion people on the planet now, and not everybody is meant for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, well, I've tried this, Yvonne, I listened to you and Lisa, and I printed out the Joy Regenerator, and I've tried it with this person 20 times, and each time, blah, blah, blah. That might not be your person.
Right. Exactly.
That might
Exactly.
not be your person. Or that person might need the space to heal, to appreciate you, to treat you like you need to be treated, like you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot fix them, you cannot make them. And sometimes space is what's needed.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're just not the right person and they don't need to be in your world anymore. You have to see for yourself. And you have to give yourself a chance, not by doing what Lisa, you said before, being a chameleon, walking
Mm-hmm.
on eggshells or trying to be and wear all these masks.
Yeah.
Take off the masks, lead from love and light first for yourself, and then you will attract others that also give you love and light.
Yes. And you know what else is true that I thought of when you were sharing with that is, I don't have all the same friends I had back in the day.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. It doesn't make it wrong. Some people you outgrow, some people you realize aren't good for you. Um, and so that does happen, and that's okay. And That's part of the healing process too, but it's hard because especially those of us that have had abandonment issues, it's hard when, if maybe somebody walks away from us, it's really hard, but that's part of the healing process as well.
Yeah, and I guess what I would invite you to think about is only to say what you want to be true.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be hard. It actually could be healing.
Mm-hmm.
It might be new. It might be different. It might be uncomfortable to start, but with uncomfortable things comes growth.
That is true.
So I would always, one of the things that I tell my tribe is like, begin to discover who you are. What do you want? Be what you want. And then put out the invitation.
Oh, I like
Put
that.
out an invitation. This is who I am. This is what energy I'm welcoming into my world. People can either accept the invitation or they can say no. And you
Mm-hmm.
can actually pull the invitation back if somebody comes and they're a party crasher, right? You can recall your invitation. Just don't settle. Don't make yourself small. Don't put on masks.
Right.
Know that not everybody can be at your party and not everybody's meant to be there, but you create the invitation.
Mm-hmm. It's
You
your
create
party.
the
Mm-hmm.
invitation. Yeah. And sometimes you want different people there as you grow, right? I I have seen even in my own life similar to you, like as I grow, I keep putting out the invitation,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not for me to take personally if they don't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it has nothing to do with me and it has to do
Right.
with what my new way of being, how it's making their way of being feel.
Right. Right.
But that doesn't mean I should change my way of being,
Right.
right?
And it doesn't mean you're wrong either.
No, and it doesn't mean I'm right. It just
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. People don't
Right.
have to be right and wrong. It
Right.
is what it is. There's a lovely book. I don't know if you've heard of it. I love it. I like to listen to it more than read it, but it's called The Four Agreements. It's super accessible
Mm.
for so many people. It's called The Four Agreements, and it is the first is don't take things personally.
Mm.
And I didn't understand it when I read it a long time ago, but now I get it because it cannot be about you anyway.
Right.
So it's not like,
Exactly.
how do I not take it personally if they insulted me? Well, it actually has nothing to do with you because it has anything to do with how they felt about themselves or their situation and they felt
Mm-hmm.
compelled to insult you because it's not your truth, right? Unless
Right.
you accept it as your truth. So don't take things personally.
Mm.
Just do your best, right? Do your best is another agreement. And that best is good enough. It is. It is what it is. The third is be impeccable. Be impeccable with your word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be impeccable with your word. So
Yeah.
that means not only don't lie, don't say anything you're not actually going to follow through on. And there's a
Yes.
subconscious mind twist to this because if you say, I'm going to do this and you don't do it, you're teaching your own subconscious mind not to believe you, not
You
to
can't trust
support you
yourself.
in action.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So what is it? Don't take things personally. Do your best. Be impeccable with your word. The fourth will come to me in a minute. But that book is a super simple, easy listen. And it makes things so beautifully accessible. So I'd recommend if you're listening and you're like, I still don't quite get what they're doing, I'm going to go take the self-love quiz. And you can listen to that book. And I think it's going to start opening your mind up to what's possible for you, which is greater joy and happiness than you ever imagined, just like you said at the beginning, Lisa.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is that we can have this joy. We can. And we having the open mind, that for me was big. And I'll share this real quick. I had a coach one time, and really this is the only really good thing that he actually said, but it was really profound for me at the time. He said, Lisa, you think in black and white. It's time to start thinking in color. And I went, it hit me. I knew he was right. I knew he was right. I just didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
And that is something that I have discovered over time. And for me, what it meant for me is I was very closed-minded. And I was because of my abuse. I was that way because of a very religious life I was living and a few other things. And I just needed to open up my mind. And as I did, and as I got to know me and that opened up, it's been a game changer for me. But yeah, I actually go into things. How can I look at this in color? How can I do this
Yeah.
in color? You know,
I
because
love that.
my brain automatically, I have a very legal background too, because my background is legal. So I'm very, that's a lot that kind of fed that black and white thing. And so now I'm like, wait a minute, let's open it up. How can I do this in
Yeah.
color instead of black and white?
I love that. That is such a good like frame of mind shift.
Yeah,
An easy thing. That's
it
awesome.
it was for me. I mean, when he said it to me, I knew he was right. And I knew what he was saying was profound. And people say these things in your life, and you're like, oh, it means something. I'm going to hold on to that, and it means something. And I've had several people do that to me in my life. And to this day, what they said, it took me in a completely different direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's such a beautiful message. Just open up to hearing things a little differently.
Yeah.
Like mm, Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I'm an absolute huge fan of, and I'm going to go to his retreat here in August in DC. He says, your mind is organized by what you know, and what you know is all from the past. So
Mm.
if you're thinking and making your decisions based upon what you know, you're just recreating the past. So he says about like, do you want a past present or a future present?
Ooh.
So when you make decisions based upon your body of knowledge, it's all from the past. So if you want something in your present or your future that's different than your past, like you said, you need to think in color. You need to
That
open the
is
aperture.
so good.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Wow, that's really powerful. That is really good. And that's another thing. See, it hit me and it's like, ooh, I'm going to remember that. That's really
Yeah.
good. Oh, Yvonne, this has been so good. This has been so,
Awesome.
so good. And I always have one question, excuse me, I always have one question I ask my guests, and that is, what would you like to leave our listeners with?
Don't wait. Don't wait. That's easy. Don't wait. If you are, I was going to wait for 7 to 15 years. If you are suffering, if you feel
Yeah.
stuck, or even if you have aspirations and you're not quite sure how to get there and you think, oh, I'll have to wait until this date or this amount of money or this relationship or this, don't wait. It's not outside of you, it is inside of you. Everything you need to make the next right step is inside of you. Don't wait for something outside of you to happen. Go take the self love quiz, unlock limitlessyou.com/quiz. Figure out what's going on inside of you
Mm-hmm.
because what you need is in there. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to wait for anything else. You already have it.
Yeah, you don't need to figure this out all by yourself. There are tools available. There are resources and people there to help you. So don't try to figure it out on your own. These are free resources. Take advantage of them.
Absolutely. Don't
Well,
wait.
don't wait. Don't wait. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing. This has been really, I mean, I always walk away from these with these little golden nuggets myself. I've learned a lot, but there's always so much more to learn. So, and I love the way that you explained it. So it was very clear and I appreciate it.